Hey villagers, this is Sheyi for Student Village, and today we are diving into the just concluded 2025 Jamb policy meeting that held in Abuja. Today's video we would cover admission deadlines for the 2025 Jamb, we will cover Jamb general cutoff marks, and a new addition which is Jamb result ranking. Let's get straight into the video. So before we go straight into the video, like I said, I want us to cover some grounds. The meeting was held on the 8th of July in Abuja in the new Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference. I don't know if it's new or renovated, whatever the case may be. It was held in Abuja, and the meeting had in attendance Jamb and stakeholders. And what I mean by stakeholders, I mean your vice chancellors, I mean your provosts, I mean your rectors from all tertiary institutions, universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, and colleges of nursing. So all these individuals or all these personalities met in Abuja to decide on this result or this policy meeting conclusions. So that is what, so when I'm giving you information, don't think it is just Jamb that made that decision. It was more of a meeting where people say, I agree, I disagree, and eventually they come to a conclusion. So let's start with admission cutoff marks. I have seen all over the internet, everybody's complaining about the new Jamb cutoff marks and how education in Nigeria just keeps going on a downward slope. And I agree with them, because at some point in my own Jamb days, if I'd like to say that, we were having 200 as a cutoff. Then all of a sudden it dropped to 180, then 170, but now we are having 150. So it begs the question, are Nigerian students getting smarter or are they getting dumber? Well, that is just for another video entirely. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to give you the current cutoff marks or the latest cutoff marks, because, well, they can change anytime soon. Maybe next year's Jamb will have something different. So if you're applying into universities, the cutoff mark for all universities in Nigeria, or the minimum cutoff, as I'd like to say, is 150 for universities. For colleges of nursing, we have 140. And for polytechnics and colleges of education, we have 100. Now, hear me out. The base score for universities being 150, this does not necessarily mean that all universities must accept 150. Universities cannot just go below 150. Example, the University of Ibadan might have agreed to 150, or even if they did not vote for 150, right? The consensus was 150 for universities. But University of Ibadan has the right to leave their own cutoff mark at 200. But they cannot go below 150. So if the University of Ibadan wants to leave their score at 150, that means if you have 150 in your Jamb, you can apply to the University of Ibadan. On no account can the University of Ibadan reduce its cutoff to 149 or 149.9. You get the idea. So yes, even if Jamb cutoff mark is 150 for universities, universities still have the right to decide whatever their cutoff is going to be, as long as it is not below the stipulated threshold. So the same thing applies to colleges of nursing, polytechnics, and colleges of education. But before we go further, I want to say you might be surprised seeing colleges of nursing being involved. Once upon a time, nursing schools did not necessarily need Jamb. All you needed was to submit your O-level results. But now they've been included into the Jamb admission portal. So yes, you must write Jamb before you can apply for nursing school. And now many nursing schools can leave their cutoff at 180. I'm pressing this disclaimer because I don't want you guys to now go and say, okay, Student Village said I can use 150 to apply for UI, or I can use 130 to apply for nursing school. No, some nursing schools can leave their cutoff at 140, but from my research, I've noticed a lot of them are between the 160 to 200 threshold, right? But they cannot go below 140. The same thing applies to polytechnics and colleges of education. Each institution can decide what they want to set their cutoff mark as, but they cannot go below the agreed cutoff. So once again, 150 for universities, 140 for colleges of nursing, 100 for polytechnics and colleges of education. Finally, result ranking. It is new, but well, that is why Jamb is Jamb. They're allowed to bring their own innovations. So now Jamb said you would be able to see your rank on your results, right? So, for example, if you scored 400, definitely you'll be number one. If you scored 180, you might be number 1.1 million or 700 and something thousand. The points being, you can now see your rank on your Jamb result, right? So you know where you stand. Jamb is pushing for 100% merit-based admission. What this means is you have very slim chance, right, of runzing your admission with this new innovation, right? Because Jamb can tell, example, let me give an example. 50 students apply for nursing, right? And the first candidate scores 380 and the 49th candidate scores 160. And because the one that scored 160 has a cousin or a brother or an uncle or an auntie, and he or she is being pushed for admission, Jamb can use this ranking to say you have number 1 to number 30 going for this course and they've not been given admission. Why are you giving number 49? Right? So admissions will now be 100% based on Jamb's recommendation, right? So ranking it's not bad because I love it personally. I love when students are rewarded based on merit, right? But I know many of you have already started working on some admission plans here and there. But well, sorry, not sorry. It's not going to happen anymore, right? So now it's 100% merit based. Seeing your rank has its implications. So that means if you score a certain threshold or a certain score, you cannot be considered for admission above somebody that scored higher when you guys are going for the same course in the same institution. So I'm going to give you guys an advice I give everybody. I used to say, Jamb is a competition, is a war. The person sitting next to you is your competitor, right? And Jamb has just made it very clear. They are not going to admit based on help this person, help that person. It's going to be purely based on merit. So yes, congratulations if you meet the cutoff and the score for your course, right? So you have to also decide. I scored 200. The cutoff for my course is 200. My course is competitive. That means more people that scored higher than me will be applying for that same course. Should I not change to a less competitive course or a less competitive school? If you are in that situation, as I said, drop a comment, send us a DM. Somebody will respond to you and give you guidance. So yes, Jamb policy meeting has added merit-based admission, and I think they are pushing for at least 90%, and it is going to work. 90% Jamb will be involved in recommending admissions, and before you know it, they will get that 100%. So no more, nothing like admission runs anymore. It's going to be what you score will get you whatever course you deserve or whatever admission or whatever school. So that is all for the Jamb policy meeting, guys. As I said, Jamb has set 150 for the university cutoff and 140 for colleges of nursing, 100 for polytechnics and colleges of education. Jamb has set deadline for admission, so time is of the essence. And Jamb has also introduced merit-based admissions through ranking of results. I wish you the very best in your admission. If you've watched this video to the very end and you know somebody that might need this video, well, share it to them. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day, week, month, and year. Bye.